Hey guys, Sonyx here. Today we're going to be going over an aiming guide for Apex Legends. Today I'll show you how to master every single aspect of aiming so you can dominate every single one of your fights. Now aiming is probably the most important skill you need to learn in this game because you can have all the movement you want in the world, but if you don't shoot your target, then everything is pretty much useless. Now mastering your aim in Apex comes down to 4 different things. The first is recoil control. The second is tracking, so like this, making sure you're able to track objects that move and enemy characters. The third is headshots, so maximizing the amount of headshots you do. And the fourth is pretty much hip fire. So if you master those 4 elements, which I'll show you how to do today, you're going to be a menace in the battlefield. So the first is recoil control. Now every single weapon in Apex Legends has a specific recoil pattern. Let me show you the difference. So this is the flatline, and I'm just gonna not hold my stick at all and just let it kind of go all over the place. So that's this flatline's recoil pattern. Now this is the R3. See how it's a little bit different, which is why people say it's a little bit harder to control the flatline in longer ranges because of that increased recoil. Now I'm not gonna talk about every single weapon of what their recoil pattern looks like. You can look that up online yourself, but I just wanted to show you how every gun always kicks up, okay? So the most important thing is that you can go into these websites and learn every single pattern and try to counteract, like here it's going this way, and then you could hold your stick down to the left a little bit. Now that's the old way of learning about things, and sure, you can do that, but in general, what I would recommend is, since weapons always kick up anyway, just hold your stick down or your mouse down, so that way you can counteract most of the recoil. So let me show you the difference. So if I'm not counteracting my stick or my mouse, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna miss most of my shots, right? If I hold down too strong, look. Okay, so you have to find a balance to where it basically negates all the recoil if you're holding your stick down, so it'll look like this. Okay, now with a flatline, it'll look like this. So you're basically holding it in place just so that way there's no recoil. There's still a little bit of recoil, but really not all that much. It almost looks like there's no recoil at all, okay? So that method is really good for controlling pretty much all weapons. However, there's another method that I want to show you that's really, really cool in controlling recoil called recoil smoothing, okay? So pretty much whenever you shoot your gun horizontally, so left to right, right to left, you pretty much negate any vertical recoil at all. I'm not even worrying about putting my try to counteracting any of the vertical recoil because the gun doesn't have any whenever I shoot from right to left or left to right. You see that? Even with a flatline, same thing. I'm not getting any vertical recoil at all. So this is really, really cool because I'm not even worrying about having to counteract. Now, Sonyx, how applicable really is this in fights? Very applicable, actually, because you're thinking like, okay, but a character is in one place. I can't just keep doing this, right? Incorrect. When you're moving your character, or whenever you move your sights this way, what you can do is you can use your body to counteract that. So you see I'm looking left to prevent recoil from even occurring. I can move my character right. So that way all I'm doing is I'm just kind of rotating my body this way, right? So that way you pretty much look what I'm talking about. I'm going to rotate my character while also recoil smoothing at the same time. You see how I'm still aiming at that one spot?
Let's scope this quadrant.
That's how you can prevent recoil at all. So look at this one spot. That's it. I didn't even have to pull my stick down. All I'm doing is moving at the opposite direction from the target so I can get the recoil smoothing benefits. So like, let's say I'm looking at this guy. I'm not going to pull my stick down at all. Look at this. Okay. And then look at this guy. I'm going to keep recoil smoothing. Same thing. Flatline. Same thing. So recoil smoothing is actually insane because all you're doing is you're negating recoil from moving left to right, and you can move your character and to keep your character from having to do this whole turning thing. You see that? See how I'm like still moving my character and my crosshairs while turning my character? It takes a while to get used to doing this, but it also helps you as a bonus. You're also moving your character, so it makes you much more difficult to get shot at too. So it's a win-win in all fronts. So if you practice, peeking around corners, you're already recoil smoothing when you're doing that. Now, recoil smoothing isn't just moving one direction. You can actually move both. So I'm going to go left and right like I'm strafing, but I'm technically recoil smoothing while doing that. Okay? if I'm, see how I'm moving left to right? I'm recoil smoothing already. You see that? Super, super helpful. Okay, so I created a specific drill that I want you to practice so you can master recoil control. You're gonna go to customize range, you're gonna go to legend upgrade progression to on. You're gonna go legend upgrades to, you're gonna reset that. You're gonna go here and you're going to put shield dummy rare, on for the helmets. Movement, you want to put movement stay in place. You want stand for your stance. You want walking for your speed. And then you want shooting off, okay? And then you're gonna pretty much have dummy spawning on, highlights on, and then you're gonna put the spawn distance to close. So first I want you to grab a flatline and pretty much have nothing on it, okay? Have a base flatline. If you want, you could put a 1x on it if you don't really have a great iron sight skin. I really like this one, so I'm just gonna keep iron sights on it. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna start in this station right here, okay? After you're done with this station, you're gonna move on to here in the middle, and then you're gonna go here last, and then you pretty much are gonna keep going back and forth. Left, middle, right, middle, left. You're just gonna go in this pattern, okay? You're gonna start in this station, and then you're gonna pretty much reset all your stats in the top. And then do you see how it says accuracy in the top right? Your goal is to be able to get red armor at 75% accuracy. Now, if you don't get 75% accuracy, you're gonna reset your stats, and then you're gonna keep trying until you get 75%. If it gets too tiring, just do 3 sets and just move on to the next drill. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. And you're just gonna be pretty much practice recoil control, okay? Okay, I'm at 70%, and every time you reload, I want you to practice to reposition yourself. Slide jump, reposition yourself to a new spot. Because how realistic is it to stand in one spot doing nothing and just shooting a target? And then you just move on, and then you look at this guy. Now that's the old method of practicing recoil control. Here, we're gonna practice slide jumping. You're gonna practice cover. And then you practice recoil control. Okay, make sure to also practice recoil smoothing in there. You see how powerful that is? You see that? Ooh, I definitely whiffed there. See, you're gonna have shots that you're not gonna really do that well in, but before you know it, you're pretty much gonna master how well you're gonna do. Let's say you're done with a station. Move on to the next one. Okay. And you see how my shots are starting to kind of tighten now? See? It just takes a little bit. Let's say I'm done with this station, I can move on here on the right. Okay, so I got red, but I only got 72%. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and go to my customize range. I'm gonna go ahead and Legends Upgrades Reset. Yes. I'll get white armor again. I'm gonna hold square in the top. Depends on the button that you binded it to. And then do you see how on the right, there's a number? That's your old number, 72%. Now your goal is to beat it to get 75%. Now this is gonna be my second set, okay? So if I don't beat it, then I have to move on to my third set. So as you can tell, I just got red at 82%, so I'm good. Now, since I already hit 82%, I don't need to go for the third set, but if I wanted to, I can go for a third one. Now, the first time you do this, it is gonna feel a little bit weird, but as you can tell, like, towards the end, I'm literally, like, frying everyone super, super fast. So this will help you with recoil control, recoil smoothing, and just master every single one of your guns. So let's go over the next pillar of aim, which is tracking. You're gonna go back to customize range, you're gonna reset, and then you're gonna go ahead and make sure your target speed here is set to run, okay? You're also gonna change some things here. You're gonna make sure they're gonna be constantly random strafing, and then you're gonna have them random stance, okay? And you're gonna have random speed as well. Now, tracking basically means it's tracking a moving object, okay? And Apex is a movement-based game, so everyone's kind of moving around and everywhere, so you want to make sure tracking is in check. So I want you to look at this target, and I want you to assess how your aim and tracking skills are. You're not even going to be shooting at this object. I just want you to look at it. Now track it with your mouse or your controller, and if your aim is a little too ahead like this, like you're basically like, oh, a little too much in front, and it's so sensitive where it's like, oh, you like overcompensated. You see how I'm doing that? I'm doing that on purpose. That means your sensitivity is too fast because it's really hard to track, and you're like doing this, oh shoot, like it's too fast, right? Now if you're like behind it a little bit and you're trying to catch up to it now, playing catch up, do you see how your sensitivity might be too slow now? Now if now the perfect sweet spot is if your tracking is like this. You see that? How I'm like right on the target, but like a little bit slightly ahead of it because I'm predicting of where the target's gonna go. Now that's this magic sweet spot for aiming. Okay? Now just as much as that tracking is important, you also come to your target that's a little closer and, you know, just kind of track track them. See how my aim is kind of snappy? It's exactly what I want it to be. Not too fast, not too slow. It's kind of hard to track because it's on random speed, you know? But this is how Apex, you know, your enemies are going to be. They're not just going to be strafing in one direction. They're going to be moving like this. And I like exactly the way the speed is. So for me, I personally play on my on a controller with 4-3 linear. My look sensitivity is 4, my ADS is 3, and I like to play on response curve linear, meaning it's just raw input. So there's no like, it doesn't speed up over time. It's literally like what I'm moving on my stick is what is moving on my screen. So try that sensitivity out. If it's too, if it's weird, then just mess around with it. See what works better for you, and keep tracking this without having shooting at it. Okay, don't even shoot at it. Just mess around with your settings until you find a sensitivity that fits you. Now for this drill, I want you to get an R301 and put a 2x scope on it. So you're gonna go back to this spot. You're gonna go back to your customized range. You're gonna reset your shield, and then you're gonna go back to here. You're gonna have everything pretty much to these settings. You're gonna have strafe at random stance, random speed. You're gonna put shooting off, and you're gonna make sure you put spawn rate is gonna be mid-range, okay? Which is gonna place them at 25 to 50 meters from you. So you're gonna be basically playing these two bins right here. You're gonna go back and forth every time you reload. Like I said, keep moving spots. You don't want to be staying in one spot. It's not realistic. So you're gonna be pretty much resetting all your stats in the very top. So your goal for this one is to be able to maintain 50% accuracy. I know it's not that much, but let me show you how difficult this one is, and be able to get red armor by that time, okay? So you're gonna be basically trying to get red at 50%. Okay, see, I'm already barely at 35%. This one's not easy at all. But you see how I'm actively tracking the characters while implementing recoil smoothing as well now? So you're building off of essentially what we were talking about earlier in the first pillar, which is that recoil control. Now you're doing both tracking.
Leveled up.
Okay, I'm barely 46%. That's why 50% is kind of difficult to get. See that? I hit one bullet on that guy. Okay, that was a really, really good one. Now I know it feels discouraging, like I'm at 39%. I know for sure it's gonna be really difficult for me to even catch up to 50% at this point. I might not even get it. So don't be discouraged. Like, just keep pushing through, and just get through that until you get red, and then just move on to set number 2. Because what this is doing for you is that, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, I'm never gonna get that 50%. You will. Just keep pushing through, because right now I'm building muscle memory of the strafes. I'm starting to learn like patterns in behavior of how people are going to be moving in fights. You see it's going to start clicking in your head a little bit more the more that you do this. Okay, I just got red at 38%. So I really don't feel great about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to customize range, Legends upgrade reset, yes. Okay, I'm gonna hold to save and reset my stats in the top. Now I see 38%, I'm on set number 2. I'm gonna go ahead and restart and see exactly how I do this time. Okay, my aim feels much more consistent now. I'm not wasting extra ammo that I don't need to. And I'm hitting targets much more yeah, I'm still not at that 50% benchmark because I'm not consistently hitting these shots, but I'm doing much better than I was during the first set. See how much more snappier my aim is now? Oh my gosh, like it's... And you see how I paused right there? Because I know this teaches you ammo conservation too. Or mag conservation, because you're not just wasting bullets when you don't need to be. Okay, I got red at 47%. See, I went from 38% to 47% in just one set. Now, I know that's just one portion of tracking people, but the more that you practice tracking people in this way, will train you to start tracking people in almost every way possible, because before you know it, you're going to have octanes moving around you left and right, and you don't know where they're going to go, but it starts with this simple tracking. It's really difficult to get 50%. I don't know if you guys can do the same, as for me, at least, it's difficult. Before you know it, you can start tracking people that are close to you when they're moving, and then your tracking is going to start improving, and you're going to start getting more awesome clips like this. Whoa, 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 that guy's moving! The octane is going crazy!
What?
You see him? Get in here, get in here!
Yeah.
It's too scary.
Oh!
I don't care. I can still track
What?
you. Oh. Oh, impeccable tracking, impeccable tracking. So the next pillar of aim is headshots. Now headshots are really great because they multiply the amount of damage that you do for your target. So you're gonna go back to customize range, you're gonna legend upgrade to reset so you can reset your armor. You're gonna go back here and you're gonna basically change your move speed to walk. So walk, and then you're gonna put your movement, keep it at random, and then you're gonna change your stance to stand. Okay? Now for this one, I want you to practice headshots on your opponents. Okay, so don't really focus on accuracy, because accuracy doesn't really mean much when you hit body shots. Sure, their body shots are great. You know, you'll take that versus a missed shot any day. But, you know, for this one, I want you to be practicing headshots. So you see on my screen here, on the top left, it says shots. And then in the middle, it says headshots. I want you to get at least 50% headshots for every shot that you take. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to hit this guy. So okay, see how I have one shot and one headshot? Okay, and then let's get a body shot. So I have 2 shots per 1 headshot. Okay, so you want to keep that ratio. So if I have 10 shots, I have 5 headshots. If I have 20 shots, I will have 10 headshots. A little bit behind, I'm at 10 shots, only 3 headshots, so I got to pick up the pace. Okay, as you can tell, I have 20 shots, 10 headshots. So this is pretty much what you want to do until you get red armor, okay? Now, a great tip here is that whenever as you can tell, I'm not actively tracking them to get the headshots. I'm not going like this and, oh shoot, the headshots here. I'm not actively tracking their head movement. What I'm doing is I'm predicting where their head's gonna go, and I shoot right at the spot where their head is gonna land. See what I'm doing? I'm just waiting for once their head goes in that direction, then I shoot my shot. That should have hit, okay? You see what I'm doing? You wanna pretty much put this in game every time that you're shooting a target, because what you're doing is you're leading your target to your shot. You're not shooting your shot to the target itself, but you're letting the target move to your crosshairs. And just for fun, if you want, you could just charge this every once in a while, and then you could just go for a headshot. Let me show you how much damage a headshot does. Look, 132. Okay, that's basically like a pocket Kraber you got here. So this is exactly why the Sentinel is one of the best weapons in the game. If you do want to check out a tier list I made just for season 22 for all the different weapons, it's going to be here in the top right, and that'll show you pretty much all the different weapons in this game and just how strong every single one of these guns are and how weak some specific ones are too. Okay, so I ended up getting 36 headshots for 61 shots total, so I'm actually over the 50% mark. Okay, because I should have just got, I think, like 30 headshots pretty much. So I got 36, so I'll take it. So if you get this, then you're good. You're good to go. If not, then you just do your 3 sets and then just move forward. So that is really helpful for just increasing your accuracy for using sniper rifles, and also a headshot practice as well. But this one, I want to show you how to get headshots with closer range weapons, okay? Grab yourself 2 wingmans, and then pretty much have nothing on them at all. And then you're going to go to customize range, and then you're going to reset your armor again with Legends Upgrade Reset. And you're just going to keep everything the same. You're not changing anything at all, okay? Except here in the dummy's distance, you're going to put close. Okay, so they spawn a little bit closer. So you're going to first reset all your stats in the top. And then what you're going to do is the same thing. You're just going to keep strafing from these 2 boxes here. And you're just going to practice getting headshots on these targets, okay? Now, what you're going for isn't really accuracy in the top right. It's going to be the headshot and shots ratio again. So for every 10 shots, I want you to get at least 1 headshot in. So let's say if you have 100 shots, you have 10 headshots, okay? Okay, so as you can tell, I did 104 shots with 10 headshots. Okay, so that's the ratio that I want to keep. Now let's see. I ended up getting 215 shots with 21 headshots. I feel comfortable with that. Remember, for every 10 shots, you're doing 1 headshot, so that's pretty accurate. Now, I still don't feel like my wingman shots are really hitting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reset. I'm just going to go ahead and move on to a second set. And I'm just going to try to stay consistent with my headshots, but then also try to hit more body shots as well too. Now, great advice I had from someone a long time ago that I heard is that you're not supposed to look at your crosshairs whenever you shoot a target. I know, it's so weird, right? Because shouldn't you be looking at your crosshairs when you're aiming at somebody? See how I miss a lot of my shots? Because I'm actively looking at my crosshairs and it doesn't actually help to shoot the target. But you're like, wait, how does that make any sense, right? You're supposed to be looking at your crosshairs, right? No, you're supposed to be looking at your target. I know it's crazy. It's crazy. There's a difference between looking at your crosshairs, like the circle. You see how you see the circle in the middle, like, you know, the reticle, and then looking at your target. If you don't even look at your reticle and at all, like you don't look at this red part and you just look at your opponent, like you just look at this guy, you're going to hit more of your shots than you realize, because what you're doing is that you're just focusing on hitting your target instead of trying to line them up to your screen. You see what I'm doing? I'm looking at my target instead, and I'm hitting much more consistent shots this way.
Cool. Safe to touch down. We're already in the next. Over there.
Ooh, 42. Oh, I knocked him. No scope. And what you could do is that you could aim for their head. Let me show you. You see, I'm just looking at their head. I'm not aiming at their head. I'm looking at their head. There's a difference. See, I'm looking with my eye at the center of my screen where their head is supposed to be, and my crosshair will match up to it. It's one of those small things that don't really get talked about that makes a huge world of difference when you start aim training. Okay, I ended up getting red at exactly 200 shots with 24 headshots. So this time I did much, much better because of that strategy that I talked about, where you're looking at the target instead of aiming at your target. Instead of looking at your crosshairs, you're looking at your target, and it'll have to line up. It's such a weird psychological thing.
Yo,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god,
Sonic is cheating. Sonic is cheating. Sonic, report. Spam report.
Another tip with the wingman that I want to talk to you about is patience is a virtue. This doesn't just apply to the wingman, it actually applies to almost every weapon, but the wingman in specific. So let's say you're shooting this guy, right? And he's moving behind cover, or let's say he's, you know, jump padding or something. You can just keep shooting your weapon all you want, right? And you're just spamming and hoping you can get a shot in, and you can get lucky like that. But in cases where they're moving a lot, just wait until they're free and line up your shot. Take a second, take like a 1 second pause, take a deep breath, you know, like one of those movie scenes like Hawkeye, and he just takes a deep breath wait for your shot to line up, bam, and then start firing when you know you have your opening. I know that's such a weird thing because Sonic, shouldn't you just be shooting every chance you get? Not necessarily. First of all, you waste more ammo doing so, but you can also wait for a second, wait until you have your opening clear, fire your shot, and you're going to be much more accurate that way. Oh! Oh! Right here.
Oh, behind you.
88.
Nice. Oh no. I have to go heal. Wow! Wow! Holy shit!
It was a headshot. It was a headshot. Now, the last pillar of aim is hip firing. Hip firing is probably one of the most important things you can do in any shooter game, because first, just grab a Peacekeeper or Mastiff. It doesn't matter what personal choice for you. And then grab a car, because this is the SMG that's really, really doing well in the game right now. The Volt is great as well. Like I said, if you want to check out the Season 22 tier list that I made, it's in the top right here that shows what weapons are the best. Now, hipfire pretty much means that you don't have to aim down your sights whenever you're shooting at somebody. Because you can shoot somebody like this, where you're aiming down your sights, you know, you're more accurate, of course. You have recoil control, recoil smoothing, you have all that stuff we talked about earlier. But when somebody is really close to you, and you're aiming down your sights, you look at how slow it takes to turn my character. Okay, it takes pretty slow. It takes pretty long. And if this guy's moving like this and he's slide jumping and doing all this, it's easy to kill him now because this is a robot. Okay, but if this guy's moving around, you're not gonna have time to track him. So what you can do is you can just not aim down your sights and just literally start hip firing. And this will make a world of difference because your speed for your character is so much more fast whenever you don't aim down your sights. You have the ability to move around like butter every time that your character is not aiming down the scope. You can slide jump, you could wall jump, you could do all this cool movement without having to worry about aiming down your sights. There are times when you have to aim down your sights, sure, but then if you have the chance, if they're close enough, just start hip firing. Okay, this is not it.
Yeah, you got a fan. Yeah, that was crazy.
That didn't look no, dude. Oh my god.
That was all hip fire.
Ooh, maybe time for a little snack.
Now, something that I want to point out is that if you start shooting and you hip fire, you retain some of the accuracy from that hip fire. So there are times where you want to swap in between. Like if this guy's kind of medium range, you want to start ADSing, hip fire. If you're close enough, just hip fire. You can ADS again. You can interchange both. So you don't necessarily always have to hip fire, but hip firing in itself retains your mobility and keeps your character from being stuck. Oh my
Nice.
god.
Wow.
Now for shotguns are almost 100% always unless you want to come around the corner like with a Peacekeeper and be really accurate like that and like pre-charge it. But then most of the time hip fire with shotguns are just more ideal. Okay, now here's the drill that I want you to practice that kind of puts everything together, especially hip firing. Get a really large backpack and then grab just a ton of bats. Reset your stats in the top right, on the very top here. So I'm gonna reset all my stats, and you're gonna go to this building here in the middle. See this building? You're gonna start here at this very room. You're gonna go to your customized range, and then you're gonna put your shooting full combat. Okay, that's it. So what you're gonna do is I want to show you this. This is probably one of my favorite drills that I made. You're gonna practice, like I said, you're gonna practice ADS, and if they get close enough, you hip fire, and then you kind of swap in between. Have some movement in there too. Slide jump, like that. See that? Now your goal for this is to get 50 kills, and try to retain an accuracy of at least 75%. I know it's a little, or 70%. 75 is a little bit difficult. Now the reason why I have bat is that, see how I just ran out of bats? I'm cracked now basically. I can pretty much bat. Once I battery, I have to swap weapons. Now I have the Peacekeeper to use. Try to, like I said, try to practice your hip fire. Oh shoot. See, I did really poorly with my hip fire there. Oh shoot, my health is really low now. I have to find a spot to start batting.
Charging on my shield.
This corner's not bad. I can see that they're coming that way. There's a guy right there. I have to take this spot. I have to swap weapons. I have to wall jump. Okay. I have to start batting right away. See how this is getting pretty intense? I have to swap to the Peacekeeper now. Okay, you can start using peek. I have to fry this guy right away. I have to get out this house and start batting. I have to get 50, remember? I'm swapping in the PK. This helps you in game too, because you're gonna learn when to heal, when to back up, when to reset. I'm gonna swap to the car. I don't feel great about that, so I'm gonna take this angle, let them walk up, and then start hip firing. That guy's dead. That guy's dead. Oh shoot, and I'm dead. Okay, I overextended. So I only got 24 kills. I didn't get 50, so I'm gonna restart. There we go. I got like 50 plus kills. I ended up doing like 60% for my accuracy, so it's not too shabby. I was trying to go for 70, but it's really hard when you're moving around doing all the cool movement. So that last challenge was really cool because it kind of put everything together, you know, all the 4 pillars of aim, especially hip firing, when that's really when to do that and how really crucial that is to kind of maximize how to kind of put movement in fights. I did want to make a separate video on, you know, movement and aim together. As you could kind of get a grasp of what I was doing there. And I weirdly had a lot of fun making these kind of game mode scenario kind of things, like to help you improve. So if you guys really want to see more of that, because I have so many more ideas of like different game modes I want to make in the firing range where you could kind of improve, let me know and I'll be down to kind of make more of these. Now, for those of you that stuck around, here's a really cool secret tip that not a lot of people know about. Whenever you're fighting somebody, okay, like I said, aim for the person, not your crosshairs. See, if I'm looking at my crosshairs, I might get psyched out and I might be a little too late because I'm trying to line him up with the crosshairs. If you just simply aim at him, I'm literally hitting my targets. That's why whenever my friends kind of watch me use like a PK or a Mastiff or whatever, I've always hit my shots. I always try to hit, you know, like I usually hit 100s. Rarely do I hit 9s. And it's something that I can kind of flex about because yeah, when I start doing movement, that's when I miss. Let's be real. No movement player hit their shots. Okay. See, but I'm just aiming at the person. But that's the first part. The second part of it is you have to let them fall into your shots. Now, Sonic, what do you mean fall into your shots? You're doing less work by doing this, okay? Look. See this guy? Standing still, you're letting him go to your shot. You see what I'm saying? You're looking at the guy too, but then you can let him fall into your shot. Like you can let him meet you at your crosshair like this. Like that. You see what I'm saying? So instead of you turning your crosshairs this way, you can just let him line up. So when he walks up to the spot that you're ready for him to go to, your shot is already nice and clear. You see that? I'm moving less of this and I'm moving more of my body instead. I can move this to get to the spot where I need to be, but since sometimes this is really sensitive, you're more bound to miss of your bullets. Now, if you line up to the general direction of where they're gonna be, and then you move your body this way, I can line my shots up way more. You see that? You see that? Instead of, like, for example, instead of me doing this and snapping on to kill him, that's more risky because I have a greater chance of hitting less. So you just move in the general direction they're in, and then literally let them fall. You see how they're falling into my crosshairs? So let them move, let the enemy move into your crosshairs. And you're gonna be surprised at how much more accurate you're gonna be doing it this way. And your teammates are gonna be like, oh my gosh, how are you hitting all your shots? Because you're letting the enemy do the work for you. You're doing actually less work this way, but maximizing how much more accuracy. You see that? How much more accurate you are in your gunfights. Now, bonus tip number 2, if you're playing on PC, get Aim Labs. Aim Labs is a free game that you can get, and it basically helps you practice everything we're talking about in this video and even more. So it helps you with tracking and pretty much everything. If you don't play on PC and you play on console, just stick with all the drills that we've been talking about here, and I'll come up with more drills in the future. Now, bonus tip number 3 is 1v1. Go to this spot in the map and grab a friend with you and just practice fighting them. Because it's better than fighting any bot and practicing any drill. Fighting a real person will pretty much guarantee you that you're ready for a fight when you go into a real game, because this is a real human being you're fighting. It's not predictable, everything's different, and you could practice all the aiming drills that you've been practicing up there, but on a real live human being. But let's say you don't have any friends online today and you really want to fight somebody, you can literally find people on the Apex subreddit, Apex looking for game, the Apex official Discord. There's people on there specifically asking for 1v1s just to practice. So literally, like, there's so many different opportunities for you to practice 1v1s. You can even go in game, and then if you make a friend, you can be like, hey, can we practice a 1v1? I want to, sharpen my skills on aiming, for example, or movement. Then, a random from a random game, and you both will benefit from it. I guarantee you. Now, bonus tip number 4. This is a wacky one, but I have to include it in there because I used to do this back when I first started playing Apex, and my aim was super, super terrible. Grab a piece of tape and literally tape the middle of your screen. Do you see how I have this like white, a crosshair in the middle? Grab your tape and then put it right where the crosshair is, like a piece, and just cut it into a circle, tiny little piece. And make sure it's like a pink colored or a red colored piece of tape or a paper, and just tape it on that spot where my reticle is. You see that? And basically what this does for you is that this will help you kind of line up your shots more. And remember how I said, like, aim at the person, not at your crosshair? Well, this will automatically line them up together, because sometimes it's really hard to see like the middle of your screen. Like there's no, you see how there's no dot in the middle? If you have a dot in the middle, for some reason, it makes your brain kind of snap on that target much faster. I have some clips here. It's really, really bad clips from like my phone or recorded on my TV, but I wanted to show you, this is when I first started playing Apex, and my shots were already hitting really, really well when I was putting that tape in the middle. Eventually you're gonna take it out, it's not really needed, but this kind of like training wheels for you if you want to get started in getting your aim really well. So practice this, let me know if this works for you. But as you can tell, guys, aiming sounds complex, but it's really simple. It's just a kind of combination of different things like recoil control, ADSing, hip firing, headshots, tracking. Now, all these things put in together helps you just become, an aiming god. I was gonna say a movement god, but that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, aiming is the most important thing that most important skill. Once you practice these fundamentals, you can start, you know, pairing them up in game, and you never know, you will start being able to hit crazy shots. Here, let me show you some examples of some crazy shots that I was able to get in some of my gameplay since I've been playing Apex.
There's one more over here.
Knock. 102.
That's how you. That's how you. That's how you. You have shit.
Oh!
Yeah.
So guys, aiming is really not that complicating if you break it down in those 4 easy steps that we talked about. Practice those drills that I talked about every day, you know, for like 20-30 minutes a day. It shouldn't do that much, and then you go into your next game and you will actually start frying people faster before you realize it. Now, doing cool flashing movement and stuff is cool, but aiming is where it's at. Okay, it's movement never killed anybody, but aiming, really good aim has, and that will carry you much further than practicing crazy cool wall bounces. And it's cool to do it, but if you pair up aiming and movement, oh my gosh, it's game over, guys. It's game over. If there's any specific video that you want to watch in the future, please let me know, and I would happily consider adding that in my future videos. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and please never ever forget to take care.